guess not even geographics, but just curious if you see it as someone new or someone that he already has come in contact with in some sort.
This doesn't feel like somebody that he is currently friends with. Now, the interesting thing is, I feel like because he has a lot of business ventures, this feels like somebody who is actually involved in the same kind of entertainment or artistic industries that he is, but behind the scenes. And so this feels somewhat like somebody that moving forward, um, he is actually going to work with more. But I don't think it's ever going to be somebody who actually wants to be in the spotlight. And I think that'll work a lot better for him.
Interesting. Okay, well, I'm gonna give up singing that I want this woman named Naomi Olindo, who he already dated, who is also in the spotlight. I think they're perfect for each other, but let's just have Craig be happy whether it's her or not. I got to get off my Naomi train here because I've been pushing it, but nobody else seems to be listening to me. So there you go. Maybe it isn't Naomi. Well, we wish them both of best of luck. Moving on, there's two women. They're kind of related. One is named Jennifer Aydin. The other one is named Teresa Giudice. They're both from the same state of New Jersey. Let's put Teresa on the side for a minute. With Jennifer, anything you feel for her? Without me giving you too much information, we can get into some of the things she's been going through next. But what about her? Anything you feel for her?
Ooh. So she's interesting because I actually do think she has a good heart. It feels like she's somebody who is very family oriented. This does feel like somebody who does struggle a lot with a sense of overconfidence and bravado. Now, the interesting thing that I'm seeing here is the symbol for bravado, not genuine confidence. And so it feels like somebody who has really fallen into what they are and kind of lost a little bit of who they are. So it feels like she wears many hats, but it feels like she's kind of lost herself a little bit. So I do feel like she's struggling with that. But she also wants to keep up this sense of she's perceived as someone who's very confident, very outgoing, very, no nonsense. And so I think she feels a lot of pressure to do that. In reality, I feel like she's struggling with a lot of um, a loss of autonomy, I guess I would say, and loss of confidence.
Does she have a sense of, I guess, well, that's kind of what you're saying, but like, does she have a sense and then just overall of like who she is as a person? Some people are in tune with themselves and others are not.
I guess that's the thing is I think that she sees herself as a mother, she sees herself as a wife. I think she sees herself as a businesswoman. But that's what she is. I think she knows who she was, but I think she's kind of lost touch with herself.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
yeah.
she's on a show called Real Housewives of New Jersey, which, we're not sure of what's happening with the show. I personally think the show will never be back on the air. And it's on a
Mhm.
pause. It might be back. If it comes back, she's most likely not to be a part of the show. It's probably going to be all
Mhm.
new people, or it may not come back at all. So, she doesn't say this outward, but, I think it's likely that she won't be back. So is that you think, like, do you think she's aware of her situation, I guess? And she might be back. I don't work for the network, but like, you know what I mean? Does she think she's going to be back? Do you foresee good business things coming for her in the next year? Or is she
Yeah,
kind
I mean,
of,
it definitely feels like she wants to come back. I can definitely see that she's really dependent on that recognition and that spotlight. I I don't, what I'll say is I can't really tell if the show is coming back or not, to be honest with you. But I feel like if they bring her back, it will be because for the controversy and the drama. And I don't think she would be a main character. It feels like she would be some kind of guest, either on this show or another one. But it feels like she's rubbing people the wrong way because it feels like somebody who is jumping the gun and representing that she has all of these things going on and she doesn't. And I think it's pissing off the people who actually run the network and the show. Um, it also feels like I think a lot of people not wanting to work with her. I think that this is majority of this is PR, but I do think that she can be difficult to work with. So it feels like she's burned a lot of bridges.
and also like if you're putting bravado out to the world and acting like you have all these things, but you know you don't. And I don't mean
Mhm.
material things, then internally you know, like, right? It's almost like, what's the word? It's almost
Mhm.
like not fraud, but it's almost like imposter syndrome is what it is, I think.
Yes, very inauthentic. And it just, I would say, socially tone deaf. It feels like she's not understanding how she's being perceived. And I do feel like she has strong, I would say this is probably a husband or a brother who is trying to like give her input and she won't listen to anybody. So she is the architect of her own unhappiness.
She has a husband and a brother. I mean, how is her husband? I mean, like, is he like, are they, do you see a happy marriage here? Like, what do you see about her home life? Because she does have a husband and she has five kids, four or five kids. You see the details really blend a little bit for me too. At least four kids. I think she has five kids. I guess I should know
So it,
this, but I don't.
probably five. It feels
The
like a
devil
lot.
is in the details, but sometimes I'm not in the details.
I think it's probably five because this
You
feels
think?
like a, hmm and it also feels like she's been with this husband for a long, long time. Same husband, same father. I am seeing infidelity in the past. I do not see infidelity now, so that's a good thing. I think the biggest issue is, and I actually think they've resolved a lot of those trust issues because this feels like it was a long, long time ago. I think her husband is actually a good husband. I will say, I think he is very intelligent, very rational, very logical. This feels like somebody who, um, she's a very emotionally person, emotionally reactive, and very headstrong in her statements and her beliefs. Whereas I feel like he takes more of a scientific approach, and he's very research oriented, wants to kind of think about things before he acts. And I think it's very actually hurtful to him that he's intelligent. I think he's accomplished, and she doesn't listen to his input at all. So he feels very disrespected and unheard.
That's not good.
No. I think they'll end up staying together. Like, I don't get the sense that he wants to leave,
You
but
don't?
they're, nah. But I mean, that's not uncommon. Like, a lot of time when I read for men, like, it has to be really bad usually for a man to leave the relationship. So that's not uncommon. Um, but yeah, I think there is going to be a distance, though. I wouldn't be surprised if this turns into a couple that has like two different properties.
Well, a lot of things you said ring true personally, because, well, first of all, he did have an affair in the past. And I mean, it was on the show, it was brought out. It was a long time ago. So when you say that, that hits right on the head. It is, like you said, they've been together for a long time. He is a smart guy. He is a doctor, he's a plastic surgeon, and he is way more reserved and methodical. You just question sometimes, do you like what she's doing? Because look, sometimes, not to be stereotypical, whether it's a guy or a girl, there is one person in a relationship who is, very stoic, and you would think, God, they must be embarrassed by the person they're with, but they actually find it very amusing. But I mean, there are a lot of people. So, I mean, you're saying no, this bothers him and he doesn't feel heard.
I think he's mortified by her behavior, to be honest with you. But I will say, I think he genuinely loves her. So I don't think he's going to leave her.
I could see that. And it's funny you mentioned two properties because their house is in Paramus, New Jersey, and it's very big and has 16 bathrooms. But there's a joke there. She has a pool house out back, and he does come home and go right to the pool house. So there are days where he sleeps